Hey, thank you for checking out this video. I just want to share what tips I came up with as I was prepping. The first Keys from the Golden Vault adventure is titled The Murkmire Malevolence, and it is set in a museum where the party has to retrieve an artifact from the museum that is actually an eldritch egg, and they got to do it before the egg hatches. Why is it in the museum? Why does the museum not know about it? Well, they've been told about it, but the doctor that told them about it was ridiculed and run out. The doctor tried to steal it, but they were stopped, they were fired, and now the Murkmire Stone, as it's called, is under careful watch, and therefore the party's been called in to try and steal it where the doctor failed. That's how the adventure will go. If you're running this in a convention setting and you got to get it done in 4 hours, this is how I would do the pacing for it. First hour, character intros, a briefing, the cry for help part. Second hour, the planning, the opening gala part. Third hour, the executing, the Varkenbluff Museum of Natural History part. And the third hour, the conclusion. The maps I have here are from Heroic Maps, and they are fantastic. They should be available shortly on DriveThruRPG or the DM's Guild. And I will put a link in the description below to their general page, and when they actually have the maps available, I'll put a link to that. But the nice thing about their maps, first of all, they're, nice large scale, full color maps here. Lots of detail, really well done. They've carefully read the adventure and got all the adventure stuff in there. Plus, they provide different versions of the maps. So here's the map of the museum during the day, the first level of the museum. Let's go look at all of the maps here. So first level of the museum during the day. I've thrown in a bunch of NPCs that are in the museum during the day. I've marked on the GM layer various things of import throughout the museum. Given the room descriptions here, all in the GM layer, so the players don't see those items. Here's the second floor of the museum. A lot of nobles gathering for the gala there in the second floor of the museum. And then you have the attic of the museum and the roof of the attic. And you also have a basement to the museum right there. So all done in beautiful, beautiful maps by Heroic Maps. Here is their night version of the same. So if I come here, go to the map layer, send that to the back, I just have the maps stacked one on top of the other. So here's the same location at night, beautifully rendered, in darkness with some lights in various places. And then, spoiler alert, if the egg hatches, if the party fails to get it and get it back to the doctor who can neutralize it, then the Eldritch Horror will take up residence in the museum, start killing everyone in the museum, killing the guards, and make it their lair. And here's what the lair looks like. You got all these, poisonous secretions off of the thing. You got blood splatters, doors bashed down. Beautiful, beautiful looking map. All right, so let me send that back to the back layer there, so players don't know what's coming for them. And the pacing for the adventure, like I showed up above, you can, watch that pacing, have more or less interactions with NPCs, bring in complications, opportunities, rivals. We'll talk about that in a minute. So let's kind of go through the adventure step by step. When the party starts the adventure, they are going to get a message from a halfling. And the halfling is going to ask them to go talk to Dr. Denell. Now, the party you can do this before the adventure starts, should know Dr. Denell for some reason, either as a family friend, a museum enthusiast, as a university student, etc. So I shared that info with the party ahead of time. Then the halfling comes, delivers a message to him. They go to meet Dr. Denell in a small little nearby, tavern. And Dr. Denell shares with them what's happening. She's very anxious. She tells them she's expecting this thing to hatch. She tried to steal it. She failed. The museum won't listen to her. You got to get in. You got to do it. She gives them a sketch of the museum. And you can see I have that sketch right here. So you can, blow that up for the players, make it available to the players. They can watch and keep up with everything going on in the museum with their heist planning. So there's a map of the museum there. She will, after giving them a map of the museum, and I got the tokens here's the token for Dr. Denell, and a couple of other unique tokens for this adventure. I'll put links to these in the description below. We got Dr. Denell, Arkin, another noble at the Gala, the Murkmire Stone there. Just taken from the pictures for the adventure. So she'll give the party the sketch. She will tell them she knows, There's up to 10 guards. Now, in the adventure, there's like over 12 guards, so we'll talk about that in a second. She will share some information about the gala that's going to take place and how she's got tickets for it. If the party needs outfits, she can provide outfits for them. And if you get the heroic maps, they have given lots of examples of cool outfits. You can see those there. They've also provided some examples of IDs. So the party needs to come up with, fake IDs to join the gala as some sort of noble. And, I should step back a little bit quickly too. This is taking place in a place called Varkenbluff. That's not, any city that I know of in any setting. So you can make it your own city. You can make it Waterdeep. You can make it Baldur's Gate. You can make it Ravensbluff. You can make it Greyhawk. You can make it Sharn. Whatever you need, you can put this where you need it. Okay, so you got your IDs. I just put some notes to myself for scouting. So the museum, it's public except for, if we look at the map here, when the party comes into the museum, they should come in during the day. And so they should be able to wander around and look at the exhibits and do whatever they want. They should be able to go pretty much everywhere except the offices on the east here on the ground floor. Those are all private and the doors are all locked. And on the upper floor, the gala room is locked up until the gala starts. Other than that, there's nothing stopping them from exploring the whole rest of the museum, which they should do. They should do that to reconnoiter and get ready. Then at 6 p.m., the gala is going to start. And so if the guards see them wandering around between 6 and 8 and see they're retired for the gala, they'll say, hey, the gala's, on the second floor, go to the big Dinosaur and head east, and there you'll be right into it. And let's see here. The doors to all the offices are locked. The doors to the basement, you can come down this shipping ramp here to the basement, and those doors are locked as well. Okay, so that's the scouting that they can do, and they can do that freely during the day. So let's talk about guards for a second. There are 12 guards in the adventure as written, and their locations, if I look at the main floor here. So during the day, I'll have some guards out there, and I'll have some, I just have some random tokens here for people exploring the museum and walking around, just commoners. Some museum staff here, and some guards there. Okay, so during the day or at night, there should be 2 guards in this area. The main area. I just made it 1. There should be 1 guard in this wing here, 1 guard in this wing here. I made that as 1, covering both of those wings. So 2 guards on the ground floor. Now they can't guard full time, so they'll shift in and out with another guard, and that guard will be in the break room. So like every hour they rotate. And then on the second floor, there should be guards at area V8 right here. 2 guards in V9 and V10 that go between the 2 areas. 1 guard in V11, which is the cafeteria, 1 guard in the main exhibit, and then 2 guards in the gala. So I changed that to just 1 guard that does the hall, cafeteria, the main exhibit, just kind of circles that, and maybe goes down and checks the privies now and then. And then 1 guard that goes back and forth between V8 and V10, all the way back and forth between these 2. I mean, 12 guards is way too many guards for a tiny little museum like this. In fact, in the real world, it'd be 1, maybe 2 guards for a museum like this. But so there's these 2 on the top floor. They have, of course, also someone else, and they rotate through every hour, and they're down in the break room. And then there's a couple special guards just because of the gala, 1 by the door, and they'll rotate out with someone down in the break room, like every hour. I put 1 of them in the privy. At some point, some guards are going to be in the privy, so I put 1 there. If the guards spot people in restricted areas and they're attired for the gala, they'll send them to the gala. If they're in a restricted area and they're not, they'll get them out of the museum. If you are caught by a guard, you need to convince them, to leave you alone, or you weren't up to no good, or whatever. You can do deception or intimidation or persuasion. DC 10, be easy. But if you fail, the guard is going to become hostile and try and drag you out of the museum, or if they have to, subdue you. Then if there's a noisy fight, you could attract more guards. I'll just play this by ear as I'm running the adventure. You can try and steal the pass, the guard pass. It's a 14 sleight of hand check, so it's not the easiest. And if you cast detect magic going, if you have that going, you'll note there's magic on a guard. And that's coming from their pocket, which is coming from the pass card. Okay, so there's the guards, and then there's alarms. So I have the alarms marked with these red boxes. There's alarms all around in the front doors. The only one red box that is an alarm is this one under the carpet. That's a pressure plate that sets off the net trap, which is only on after hours, after 8 p.m. And of course you can detect magic to find the alarms. When an alarm triggers, it's like a bell ringing, which can be heard about 60 feet away. So an alarm in this main area probably won't attract this guard to the west. And well, you just have to use your judgment on where the guards might be when the alarms go off. Okay, there's some statues, one up here on the upper exhibit, two down here in the lower exhibit, and these things are tough. These are animated armor. Look at one of those animated armor. So armor class 18, 33 hit points. Really tough thing. Multi-attacks with slam attacks, and slam attacks do d6 plus 2, so 2 d6 plus 2 attacks. That's a tough fight. So be cautious with triggering these, but definitely use them if you need to challenge the party. Okay, so then we have to next. We have statues, then we have the card. If a party gets a card, they'll find it's a palm-sized card embossed with the museum's logo. And it lets them pass through an alarm area without triggering the alarm. And then we have keys. So the curator, who is in the Gala from 6 to 8, has a set of keys that goes to anywhere in the museum. And then the guards have sets of keys that go to their areas, the front doors, the guard room, but not, I should put some locks on these other doors. They're not alarmed, but they would be locked. The records room they don't have keys for, and the main office they don't have keys for, but they have keys for other locations. Then we have hiding. So the party's going to go in and reconnoiter. They're going to find out what they can find out about in the museum. They should have a chance to find the records room and the office, and there they can find out what's the guard situation that they can use. They can use that to their advantage, and what's, they can find out about the pass cards that let them pass alarms. The guards have keys. They could pickpocket a key. There's some spare pass cards. They can pickpocket them from a guard, or the spare ones in the guard room. And then, if they get a chance in the Gala, they can investigate, do a search in the Gala. They could find out a number of things. If they study the pedestal, you think all doors leading to the room will lock if the stone is removed from the pedestal, and they can find the secret door in the south wall. See, they will notice tiny glyphs carved into the base of the pedestal, and then with Arcana, they'll know it'll lock all the doors. So they'll know they got that going against them. If they search, one other thing they might also find is a replica. So in V9, area V9, we have glittering ore and gemstones arranged in velvet-backed display cases. If they search V9, in the easternmost room, one display cabinet includes a chunk of jade similar in size and weight to the Murkmire stone. And they could take that, they could do a Indiana Jones type swap on the Murkmire stone, the real one, and not trigger locking all the doors, which would be really beneficial to getting out of there if they need to. If they get stuck in the room, the doors are locked, there is this small little tunnel they can get out and try and make their escape. If they can get to the attic, they can make their escape, down ropes and such to get away. If they have to come through the front doors, there's likely going to be a lot of guards and stuff, and plus the statues. The Dinosaur exhibit, when they are in the Dinosaur Prehistoric Registers exhibit, and they do a search, they will find a small hatch in the display place. I kind of added this. It's kind of not really given in detail in the adventure. It covers a panel of buttons that can start or stop an animatronic display of the thing. And I added there's a taped over subpanel with gnomish writing on the tape. And if you can read the gnomish, it says danger experimental. So if you open that subpanel, I go to the subpanel description. Inside the subpanel, a number of dials and toggle switches. And if you're good with Arcana, Thieves' Tools, or Tinkering, you think you can override the normal controls on the Dinosaur and make it go on tilt. And that could be very dangerous, because it could even come off its base and move around, it looks like. So a party could set up to, right after they get the stone, turn on the Dinosaur, use that distraction to get out. So that's a good way out for them. Okay, so that's pretty much most of the things. Now, some weird things. Why so many guards? We talked about that. There's a net at the front door. When that net triggers, there's no saving throw as written to avoid it. Don't know if I have it, but if you step on the pressure plate, a weighted net drops from a secret compartment in the ceiling, and it's a 15 dex save. Well, there's no save. I added the 15 dex save or restrained. 10 strength save, or you're knocked prone at the same time. So you're just basically restrained the way it's written. So that's one little odd thing. I added the gnome subpanel. Watch out for showing an up-close image of the Murkmire stone. The ones they have made are... they show it with the Eldritch Horror about to hatch. So if we look at this picture here, you can see it inside there. So try to be careful showing too close up a view of that thing. I mean, unfortunately, if the players look carefully in the main picture too, you can see it in there. That's not really supposed to be visible, and it's not supposed to be translucent until about 10:30 p.m. So after the Gala's over, as the thing's sitting there in the dark, it'll start to glow. And when it does start to glow after 10:30 p.m., a pulse of magic energy will come off of it every 10 minutes, and anyone in 20 feet could be hit by one of these effects. And they get one at a time. A new one supplants an old one, but many are bad. And that just kind of heightens the tension at the end. So let's say your party's done really good, and they're just going to walk in there and grab it and walk out. You know, they've covered all their bases. You can also throw in some complications, some opportunities. I'm probably going to roll this opportunities randomly at the start. And these complications and opportunities, these were provided by heroic maps. So number 3, one guard is a new squeaky boots. You can easily hear their approach. That'd be great. I'll have them randomly roll these. One complication. Number 1, a guard feels unwell and stays in the break room, vomiting. I already moved the guards to the break room. I might tweak that one a little bit. I might go on to number 2, Glorina of Unearthed Cafe left a recipe book and returns to fetch it. So maybe Glorina walks in on the party if they're hiding there in the cafeteria. Oh, another thing that heroic maps did was give some descriptions of the cafeteria menu. There we go. Unearthed Cafe menu. All right. And then lastly, you can do the rivals. So if the party really has an easy time of it, you need to slow down the end of the adventure a little bit, give them a little more challenge to get out. You can have this rival party come in. And these were hired by Arkan. Now, as written, they are pretty tough. I'm talking about a bandit captain, which is a CR2, 3 bandits and a scout. I might replace the bandit captain with another scout. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if I have to use it. But be careful there. That's a really tough encounter. 3 bandits, a scout, and a bandit captain for a first level party is a tough encounter. Okay, let's talk about music real quick. So, music for the adventure. I'll have the link to these in the description below. But inside Tabletop Audio, I picked out Medieval Town just for general town atmosphere. Royal Salon for when you're at the party, say. Turn that up a little bit. I'll cancel the Candlekeep. This is good for meeting first with Dr. Donnell and also for at the party. Candlekeep I have just basically as regular music for inside the museum. Then if you have time in the different exhibits and wings of the museum, you can do Swamplandia for the plants. You can do Fishing Village for the anthropological section. You can do Cave of Time, or let's see, Dinotopia for the dinosaurs and other animal exhibits here. Cave of Time for the gems. Ancient Artifact for around the Murkmire Stone. Covert Ops when the place goes dark and the party's doing their covert stuff. And then finally, Mansion Night. Kind of a neat little music for a conclusion for the adventure. Like I said, I'll put tokens below. I do these knowledge checks secretly for the players and then share them with the players by whispering. An example of one of those, if I go to B12 here. Search actually B12S. Okay, so this one here that says 12 perception, I would whisper that to a player that had 12 perception or higher. And the one that says read gnomish, I'd whisper that to a player that could read gnomish. I kind of have to wait till I see what the characters are to make those final tweaks, but I'll put those links in the description below as well. So that's it. That's the Murkmire Stone Adventure. It really looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to play that here coming up on the 21st, February 21st. So check back for that play video. After that, it'll be later this week. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. And I hope you have a good time with Keys from the Golden Vault and a good time playing tabletop RPGs. Thank you.